In the words of the legendary Lou Gellerman, hello, dog fans, and welcome to the Sound the Siren podcast because everything matters, including getting back to our winning ways at Husky Stadium with a much better performance. I'm your host, Hooligan7. I'm joined tonight by DJ K. Woody. We may be joined in flight by the Darker Knight and Hood Husky, but DJ, how are you doing tonight, bud?
Doing all right, surviving.
Yeah. Certainly, I think we both feel a little better about the Husky football performance than we did at this time a week ago.
Yes, definitely.
Would it be great for that performance to show up on the road? Of course.
Please.
But as always on the Siren, we are a proud member of the College Huddle. Please check out other members of the College Huddle podcast network. We're on YouTube. We're of course, if you're listening to the show, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of those different places. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/sound the siren. But without further ado, it's beverage time. I'm on Team Water. We're about running about 15 minutes late, so I'm not going to cause any trouble. But how about you? What are you sipping this evening?
Yeah, I just got some water too. It was right next to me. Oh, it's over the table over there. But yeah, just water tonight.
Yeah, it's and I will also say I didn't come prepared with stupid tweets or Husky Couture. Do you have anything in either? Well, I know you've got a piece of Husky Couture because I can see it on camera, and that is
yeah.
But any stupid tweets that we need to discuss before we chat a little bit about Husky hoops this evening?
Yeah, I got one. It's from our old faithful on the stupid tweets. I'll give you a guess who would it be? Who's been probably the most
Does it name with line pill?
Yes, it does. Yeah, this is in regards to, I think this is when Cody Green flipped, or maybe sometime after that, from Oregon to UW. And so this is from May 14th, 2025. Ryan Schill says, Cody, what's that?
he gave me a birthday present with a stupid tweet to laugh at.
So Cody, is that your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, cool. Cody been in a free fall for a while. I guess he ends up in the 50 to 100 range nationally by the end of the cycle. Still a very good prospect, but he's not filling out the same people predicted. Has a frame for it. We'll see. So, yeah, he is now back to a 5-star. He has gone up in the rankings. I don't remember exactly where he's number 20, I believe, but I think he was like at 44.
Yeah. My favorite one was when in a thread trying to defend that was it got shared in one of the chats about like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan, what a Husky fan was giving him. And Ryan's response was, yeah, Michael Jordan missed a lot of shots too. Like,
yeah.
Ryan, you are the Michael Jordan of as many shots as Michael Jordan made, and as great as Michael Jordan was, your takes on Twitter are basically the opposite of that.
Yeah. The Michael Jordan of bad takes, that's the thing.
Seriously. But I know we certainly wanted to, like, as we promised, we certainly wanted to talk a little bit about Husky hoops. We're a couple more weeks into the season. What have you seen that you've liked? Any causes for concern? Certainly the injury bug is it's an epidemic.
It really is. Yeah, that would be my biggest concern, I would say, is that and then I guess like in relation to that for concern wise is not a lot of guys have been able to play and gel together because of those injuries. So that is a concern going forward, even assuming they all get healthy or a majority of them get healthy. Like, okay, then they have a short period of time playing together before Big Ten conference play. Actually, not really any time, because I think the first Big Ten games are early December. I think we play USC and somebody else, but then it's a little bit of a break. But yeah, that'd be my biggest concern. My other probably illegitimate concern is UW basketball cursed. I don't know, because we could have, maybe should have, I don't know, lost to Southern last night in a battle, a double overtime battle. But at least, the old teams, the hot teams, they would lose those games 100%. So at least we pulled that out.
Yep.
yeah, so they didn't look that great last night. I was at the game, so that was exciting. I brought my family.
Nice.
They actually had a great time, so it was fun
Good.
for them. But that WSU Apple Cup on the hardwood, that was a lot cleaner game. But we lost Steinbach. I mean, it's probably not very long. I'm assuming. I think we play. I think we have a little bit of a break, 8 or 9 days, and so we should
Yeah,
get most of
next
those guys
game
back.
is down in Palm Desert on the 20th
Nevada. Yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day, which will be fun. That'll be something to watch on CBS
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
You can definitely tell
yeah,
there's a difference in players though this year than last year. Like obviously they're new, but way more skilled and talented.
yeah,
And have a couple guys that
and
can
I will
take
say I'll
over.
give him credit for the resilience to with all of the injuries. Certainly, first appearance as a Husky for Desmond Claude played really well, while still certainly clearly still battling through the injury. So that's certainly a positive. But as you said, certainly I can't argue with that, and certainly hope that they get the full roster as healthy as possible as soon as possible to get some time to gel and really get into a flow.
And he played 35 minutes. I don't think he was supposed to play anywhere near that,
and
but they needed him to.
I don't know if I don't know if we'll have to figure out as we get into a little more Husky basketball coverage how we award players of the game. With football, it's the purple helmets. I don't know, purple nets. I don't want to do purple basketballs because with this group, that could go a whole different. That could get off the rails in a hurry. But certainly also a big shout out to Kamari Peterson, who I believe played all 53 something minutes or 50 minutes of that game last night. And played really well and kind of righted the ship. Certainly, I will to touch briefly on women's basketball. They are absolutely rolling to start the year. An 18-point win that really wasn't that close today against Fresno State. Went on the road and beat while it's not a Utah team that is as good as it has been the last couple of years. They're kind of in the middle of a bit of a rebuild. Going on the road and winning at Utah is never anything to sneeze at. They've still been without El Ladine, but getting strong performances, a big recognition, not just from us, but Savia Sellers was the National Player of the Week last week. So some big time stuff.
Huskies can play and win on the road. That's what you're saying. It's possible.
It's possible.
Women basketball showing the way. I like it.
Yeah. Teach basically our women's athletic programs just need to teach the men's programs how to do things in a lot of different ways, because obviously we recognize women's soccer. They held it down at home and with a 2-0 win against Montana. They are on the road, or I think it might be a neutral site, but they believe they play their second round game against Arkansas. I believe that's tomorrow evening. So certainly our good Husky mojo being sent to women's soccer as well. But let's go ahead and talk about Purdue and what we saw Saturday night at Husky Stadium. Certainly a much, as we talked about, a much improved performance. But what were the things that stood out to you?
Just a complete game from beginning to end. That's what, obviously we've had our rows on the road, but even like starting off slow at home sometimes, we've been doing that. So yeah, from beginning to the end, look good. I mean, we're down our star running back, our star receiver, couple linemen, but we're still able to push the ball. And yeah, I mean, we got some big futures on some young players on defense or in offense, both sides of the ball. Like, I think the other thing that came up from that game was the young guys showing out, the freshmen, and so we got some good ones. Hopefully they can all stick together, and just going to keep getting better and better. That was the main thing. Other than like a complete game, but seeing the young guys ball out. ZRS, I mean, we've already talked about him before, but even more so again this game. Like, he's insane, especially 9 months, 10 months, like 10 months after ACL injury.
Yeah, and shouts to the guy on Twitter that took issue with me saying that ZRS has the potential to be the best linebacker in Washington history. I'm not saying that he is or anywhere remotely near the conversation. What, 4 games into his Husky career?
You're not even saying he will be. You're saying he has.
I'm not saying he will be. I'm saying he has that kind. He's got the talent and athleticism and potential to get there. Like, sorry,
the guy that
we're not allowed to project. And that's not even a projection. It's or a prediction. It's that's the kind of ceiling that he has.
The only guy that has that kind of ceiling in the last, I don't know, 20, 25 years is Shaq Thompson, but similar like athleticism and build, and he was obviously one of the better ones we've had in the last, like I said, 20 years or so. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so certainly for me, no arguments with what you said. Seeing us settle down, certainly, didn't love the first couple of possessions where it was like, okay, we're still kind of hiccups, fits and starts, but then it really got rolling. Certainly, obviously, see a hugely scary moment with RVB. Such good news that he seems to be doing well and is already at least pushing to to be available for this Saturday. Certainly, health comes first, but really impressed by the performance overall. Breaking news: Jordan Washington is fast. Yeah. Basically, he is a one step, and if you don't have contain or an angle on him, good night. Because that was pretty. That was a lot of fun, and certainly to the point about looking, kind of obviously there's still a lot on the table, a lot of meat to chew this year, but keep that that room together with a pretty big addition that we can talk about that the coaches can't. In Brian Bonner coming in, and you look at a running back room next year of Adam Muhammad, Jordan Washington, and Brian Bonner. And that's no disrespect to Quade Carr or Julian McMahon, but that's very, 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 that's very, very dangerous. And, we'll obviously dig into recruiting more as the class kind of finalizes it, and we'll do our F-Bombs recruiting show in a month. But really impressed by the performance.
And so I want to say one thing before you, because you just mentioned those two running backs. The thing I love about that, they're all 3 different running backs. They're way different styles, and so they complement each other really well if they're all here next year.
And that's the thing, honestly. Like, and this is not to get into a diatribe at the coaching staff, but and obviously we've had huge turnover on the offensive line with the injuries and players going in and out, but I think they're kind of really starting to figure out like how best to utilize Adam Muhammad, because he absolutely can be a sledgehammer, a very, a classic Big Ten power style back. And he does have some juice and some wiggle and some agility. But teams are not going to have a lot of fun trying to tackle that guy 20 times a game.
No.
Like, good luck with that. So I certainly, as we look to next year, I want to see that a little bit more. And I will say, and we'll give him credit, between the 17 carries and the 3 catches, or he had 3 targets. So we did try and get him the ball 20 times in this game while we were missing Jonah. So should we just go ahead and talk about players of the game on offense and defense?
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. So let's start on offense.
It's between 2 people or positions to say, but I'm gonna go Amari Evans. He had that big catch down the sidelines. Couple reasons why I'll choose him. I mean, that big catch, but that also kind of sparked their offense. Like you said, they were kind of slow at first with their the first series or 2, not really moving the ball. And then that sparked their offense. Obviously that was an amazing catch, but also just like he hasn't played much this year or hasn't gotten much targets, and to come out and do that and make some other catches too. I think that was big. And so appreciate the resilience he had and coming out there and doing that. And so I thought that was big.
Yeah. I've got to, I'm gonna, despite the, we've given some plaudits to Jordan Washington. I'm gonna give it to Adam Muhammad again. It really the staple that really kind of kept things and got us going. I thought was Adam. It's not to disrespect anybody else. Obviously, Jordan had the explosive run. Plaudits to Audric Harris for a couple of big catches. You have a 2-target, 2-catch day for 90 yards. It's not a bad bit of business.
Yeah, almost putting up maybe Moss numbers.
but really, seeing Adam get into the end zone 3 times, particularly, and kind of be the bell cow while Jonah wasn't able to go. I think it was just. I think it was it. It's a step forward for him. Yes, it's Purdue, but it's a great performance.
And it's a Big Ten team, so you can't fault them for that.
Yeah. How about on defense?
Oh, man, Steph, you can go first.
I mean, the obvious. Well, there's an obvious one.
Yeah.
And it's a name that we've been talking about for a few weeks in Zadrius Rainey-Saleh. But I think I'm actually going to go with. I'll give it to Ontario Thompson this week.
That's a good
couple interior pressures that really kind of we were able to really kind of push the pocket and get Ryan Brown uncomfortable. And I'll just say also just a good performance up front from the defensive line as a whole, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You could have given numerous guys. I'm going to go. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his first name, so I was going to say X Alexander. How do you pronounce his first name?
I think it's Jure, but I'm not.
Isn't it like that? Yeah.
I don't. I need to check the pronunciation guide, and I don't have it in front of me, so that's my bad as well. But yeah, he definitely.
Yeah, he was all over the place. He was just whenever it was a big play, I feel like he was in the middle of it or close by. So, we're gonna have some choices to make, or guys are gonna have some choices next year. With he has eligibility, man who's supposed to come back, Buddha, and then obviously ZRS. So
that room is gonna be ridiculous. I mean, and there's such versatility in that room that like I don't think it's an issue where there's other rooms on the team that are probably overstacked with and that I would anticipate guys potentially moving out of via the portal with the versatility and how I think multiple that we've tried to be on defense in some ways, and and ZRS in particular. That's a guy that like you could have Buddha and Jacob on the field and still have ZRS on the field, and ZRS is just on the field kind of flexing up into an edge or into a pass rushing role in a particular.
He can rush the passer pretty well too.
Exactly.
Yeah, both can.
Right. So I think you're going to have. I think Ryan Walters is probably going to have a lot of fun with that next fall. To be honest, but yeah, and I also just real quick to pretty even and like all across the board. Devin Bryant had 8 tackles. Jure had 8. ZRS had 6. Elenius had 6 from the defensive line. Agent 12 had 5. Ontario had 4. Durfee had 4. Like just a balance, real solid defense. It was really, really nice to see. Other than the certainly want to see us turn the ball over a little more than we have, but the one we got was pretty.
Yeah, it was.
It was definitely nice, but let's go ahead. Anything left to say about that one?
No, I mean, just good bounce back win. Like, we kind of touched on like that first drive or two on offense. It was like, oh, man, are they not getting over the performance from the week before? But yeah, they got going and they were solid the rest of the way. So yeah, you never know how they respond losing a game like they did to a team like Wisconsin and the way they did. Like, are they just going to be down the rest of the year? And so I thought it was going to be. I wasn't on the pod. I texted you guys predicted a Husky win, but I thought it would be closer. I thought it would probably be like within 10 points, 10 points. But yeah, I was way off.
Yeah, you were in full doom and gloom mode.
I was. I mean, like I said, who wasn't though?
I mean, yes, but it was still Purdue.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think they're gonna lose. I just thought it was gonna be around 10 points. Like I think the spread was what, 20 or 18?
I think it was like 16 and a half or something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into our big predictions. And the conference slate this weekend does start with with the number one team in the country being visited by the Rutgers Scarlet Knights for a 9 a.m. game on Fox. The Buckeyes are a 31.5 point favorite, over under at 54.5.
Buckeyes by a lot. 31.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a large cover. I will say I'm confident in what I'm confident in most is that the Buckeyes win by a lot. I don't think it's maybe not quite 31.5 points a lot, but I am actually pretty confident in the over. I would say that I'm most confident in a Buckeye win. Secondly, most confident in getting the over, and then probably third most confident in the Buckeyes covering. Would be how I would grade it.
I can see. I was gonna say I can see 40 to 14 win. That's right at the over and under. But Ohio State's defense is good, and I know Rutgers doesn't have a bad offense, their defense is good. So I don't. If I were to guess, I would say they would not beat the spread there, but it'll be pretty close. They're gonna win. They're gonna win by a lot.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Next game on the conference schedule, give me just 1 second, is Minnesota traveling to Wrigley Field to play Northwestern, second week in a row with a Wrigley Field game for the Wildcats, who are a 3.5 point favorite with the over under at 40.5.
It's going to be a good, bad game. Give me the Gophers.
All right.
I'll go Minnesota on this one. Just a guess. I think it's a toss up.
All right. I'll take the purple team and I'll take Northwestern. They kind of coulda, shoulda. They had a chance to knock off Michigan last week and didn't, even though Michigan mostly controlled that game and was doing what it could to hand them the game. But I think Northwestern gets it done this weekend.
Yeah, as far as how they look during the season, Northwestern looks like a better team than Minnesota, and they're at home, kind of.
Right. That one is a 9 a.m. game on the Big Ten Network. Starting off the 12th, the next window of games is a big one. Number 15 USC traveling to number 7 Oregon for a 12:30 game on CBS. The Ducks are a 9.5 point favorite, over under 59.5.
I'm gotta go with the Ducks. I don't want to, but I said before, I'm not picking against them because they freaking find a way. All these games, it's so annoying, but they'll probably find a way here. I don't trust USC also too, but you got Trojans. I hope you're right.
This is one of the only times in my life you're going to see me do this.
I've seen you do it before on the pod, but yeah, not too often.
I think that can Oregon win this game? Absolutely. I in particular think that unless USC really struggles to protect Jaden Maiava, I think the Ducks are going to have some problems containing Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane, and that there's going to be some, I think that might actually feel a little bit like our trip down there in 2022. I could see a very similar type game in this one, and we'll see, because USC needs this, because I don't know if you saw the stat that floated or the thing that basically in the CFP era, USC has 2 wins over Washington and Oregon, and they happened the same year.
Yep, 2016. I saw that
in 2016. That game still irritates me. But yeah, so give me the Trojans in that one. Moving on to the other 12:30 game, which is a Fox Sports 1 game. Michigan State travels to Kinnick Stadium to play the Hawkeyes, who are a 16.5 point favorite, over under 42.5.
Man, what a roller coaster the last few weeks for Iowa. The highs going into the Oregon game, being ranked, and lose 2 in a row, and now it's $14 to get in the game. There, I know it's against Michigan State, but still, it's Iowa. Like what else they got going on? And they usually have pretty good attendance from what I at least see on TV. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Iowa though. Just Michigan State, you can't trust them.
Yep.
At all.
Yeah, I think Iowa wins this one. I think Iowa covers, but I also think it's the under. I think this game feels like it could be like a 30-3, 30-10 to keep it just under. I don't see Michigan State doing much against the Hawkeye defense.
16 points is a lot to be favored though.
It is. Moving on to a 1:00 game on the Big Ten Network, and that is number 18 Michigan traveling to Maryland. Wolverines a 13.5 point favorite, over under 45.5.
Oh yeah, Michigan. I'm gonna go with Michigan, but I can see this being close.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Michigan could have easily lost last week.
Could have, should have, and
yeah.
It's. I think, unfortunately, some of the things that were working well for Maryland earlier in the year are no longer. The defense is struggling to a much greater extent. I think Michigan has started to figure some things out offensively. I think Michigan I actually think Michigan probably covers.
Okay.
In this one.
I just like, other than Ohio State and Indiana, they're in a class of their own. I just think the rest of not the rest, but like the next tier, like Oregon, USC, Michigan, even including us, like I don't think there's a big difference. I don't think we're that. I think those two are really good, and the rest isn't that great.
Yeah, I would say that there might be a. I think it's. I certainly think it's Ohio State and Indiana. I think there's a second tier where it's Oregon is certainly in the second tier. I think it's a little more there's more of a gradient to it. I think that USC is close. I think we're certainly UW on our good days, Michigan on its good days are capable of playing with. We're all capable of beating like that next year down. We're all capable of beating each other depending on the circumstances of the game. But I mean, obviously, we saw Iowa is certainly capable of beating Oregon.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of more of a scrap fight of teams that are pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Moving on to a couple of teams that are not having a lot of fun right now, and that is on 4:00 game on NBC. Nebraska traveling to Penn State. Penn State is an 8.5 point favorite, over under 44.5. You think it's cheap at $14 to get into Kinnick to see Michigan State? It's $5. $5 to see Nebraska at Penn State game, which is crazy.
Imagine telling that to somebody even 30 years ago, when even with inflation, that it gets $5 to get into Penn State versus Nebraska.
Yeah, tell somebody 30 years ago that Washington and UCLA are going to be playing a Big Ten conference game.
Yeah.
On the same Saturday, Nebraska is playing a conference game at Penn State that you could go to for the cheapest price of any game in the conference.
In country, probably.
Yeah, actually, let me see. Just for fun, let me quickly. Well, you talk about this game and
okay.
You preview.
I just can't imagine anyone trying to sell a ticket for $2. But yeah, so
I'm going to see if there's a cheaper game in the country this weekend than that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Penn State. I said this a couple weeks ago. Like, I don't think they're as bad as their record is. Obviously, they're not everyone thought they were before the season. But yeah, I thought that Indiana game was going to be close. I said that a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to go with Penn State here.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think certainly the Raiola injury for Nebraska is key. If he was healthy, not that I think he's a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but
still solid.
But he's still solid, and I think certainly Penn State started to kind of figure things back out around. And I will say, at least according to ESPN right now, Nebraska at Penn State is the cheapest game to get into in the entire country.
Wow.
There's some other ones in the single digits, including a couple more, at least one other one in the conference, and one featuring our former head coach. Because they're playing, it's SoCon Saturday in the SEC, so if you wanted to get into Bryant Denny, I think it's like $9. You wanted to go heckle Caleb.
Cheap.
But all right, moving back to the final game that we're not going to talk about at length on this podcast, and that's number 21, or at least from the Big Ten, and that's number 21, Illinois traveling to Wisconsin for a 4:30 game on the Big Ten Network. This one's an $8. Everybody's surprise sounds like
just dropping something over there.
It happens. The Illini are a 7.5 point favorite, over under 40.5.
What does Vegas know? Only being a 7-point favorite here.
That they're not very good.
Yeah, maybe they know that too. Man, that would be funny if Illinois loses at Wisconsin. Actually, I'm hoping that it happens for numerous reasons, because it help us with rankings and stuff too. But also, so we're not the only ones losing against Wisconsin. But I don't think that happens. I'm gonna go with Illinois.
All right, welcome in the darker night. How are you doing tonight, bud?
Doing well. How y'all fellas doing?
Doing all right. We were just on to Illinois at Wisconsin. Who do you like in this one? Illinois is a 7.5 point favorite, over under 40.5.
I think Wisconsin's going to play tough at home, but give me Illinois to get right and kind of put this game away fairly early.
All right. I will take Illinois as well. I think Wisconsin's figured a few things out, but I don't think they've figured that many things out.
Do you think they cover?
Yeah, I think Illinois wins by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's closer. I think it's like a backdoor, one of those ones where they kind of lose the cover towards the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it being a one-score game going in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, real quick, let's backtrack and Darker Knight, we'll get your picks on the record for the rest of the conference games. First was Rutgers at Ohio State, who are Buckeyes, a 31.5 point favorite, over under 54.5.
I'm going to take the under, actually. But yeah, I think Ohio State covers pretty easily, or wins fairly easily.
All right. How about the game at Wrigley Field? And that's Minnesota playing at Northwestern. Northwestern's a 3.5 point favorite, over under 40.5.
Watching Northwestern, they're actually a decent team, and I think they're really well coached, especially defensively. I actually like Northwestern to cover and win at home.
Yep, that was my selection as well. How about your thoughts on the ranked on ranked, only two ranked on ranked games that are happening this weekend? This one's the one that's in the Big Ten, and that's number 15 USC at number 7 Oregon. Oregon, I'd say 9.5 point favorite, over under 59.5.
I know who DJ went with because he's just
he stated
if something happens to me, I go to coma the next week. Like, just know I'm picking Oregon the rest of the way. Unfortunately, but
I ordered some home field green apparel for you, just for that, DJ. Hey, Merry Christmas.
No, don't go that far. No, I would burn that. I don't like them at all.
think Iowa exposed some holes. I think Penn State kind of did early in the year, but they didn't have the horses to kind of finish. But Indiana was able to piggyback off that and expose Oregon even more, and then Iowa also played them close. So you get a USC who's obviously more explosive than Iowa. I don't think they're as good defensively, but collectively they have more talent. So I think it's going to be a really close game, especially going into the fourth. And I'm going to take USC to pull an upset on the road in Eugene.
All right.
One other thing I'll add, the reason why I'm going Oregon, just not because I'm saying pick them all, but the way USC has looked on the road has not been good. They're like us. They play awful on the road, so that would be a big concern for me as far as selecting them. Yeah, again, hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for USC. I don't give a damn about my picks, but yeah, that was just something I noticed.
I think what it helped though is obviously it's a familiar foe, but the travel isn't as bad. And so you can afford to leave a day early instead of 2 days, and you're trying to get acclimated to time change and all that type of stuff. I think that plays a big factor too.
Yeah.
But I think you staying on the West Coast is a fairly, simple flight, maybe a couple hours, 2, 3 hours instead of flying 5, 6, cross country. So I think that played a part, and I think the boys will be ready. They actually look good. They've been competitive in every game. It's not like they're getting the doors blown off of them on the road. So I think they can go into Eugene and still win.
Yep. All right. Sparty at Iowa. Hawkeyes a 16.5-point favorite, over under 42.5.
Well, Michigan State starting a freshman quarterback is not going to bode well against that defense. So give me the under, but give me Iowa to win fairly easily.
Yep. We were all DJ. So far, we're unanimous on that one. How about number 18 Michigan traveling to Maryland? Wolverines just under a 2 touchdown favorite at 13.5, over under 45.5.
Well, the freshman QBs, huh? I think Michigan's run game will be the difference. I think it'll be a fairly competitive game. I think Maryland's defensive front could give Michigan some issues, especially early. But I think Michigan on the ground, just sticking with the run game with those body blows. I think in the fourth quarter they start to pull away.
All right. And then Nebraska at Penn State. Penn State's actually an 8.5-point favorite, over under at 44.5.
Nebraska may have found something in a quarterback. I'm not saying what's going to happen in the offseason, but the team seems to vibe around the new QB. But heading into Happy Valley,
decommitted. His little brother.
You may know something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Nebraska could definitely score and win this game, but I'm gonna pick Penn State. Just saw a clip of just how tied the interim coach is to the university and how much he cares. I think the players are gonna play hard for him and pull this one out for
him. We've got a family member, a Sound the Siren family member in the chat, and you missed it. I actually picked Michigan this time around. So
sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint. And I had Northwestern over Michigan last week, and I was that close to being right. So take that for what it's worth. All right, into the bonus games we go. And we will start by touching into a conference that we have not spent a lot of time in this year, but we'll have a little bit of fun with this. And this is a Friday matchup on Fox Sports 1, and that's Hawaii traveling to UNLV. The UNLV is a 2.5-point favorite, over under 64.5.
Oh.
Someone else go first. I don't know.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, Hawaii does have one impressive win on the year. You know what? I think that travel is going to play a part. Give me UNLV on this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. I do want to recognize that these are a couple of teams that could have had the wheels really fall off, and credit to both coaching staffs for what they've been able to accomplish this year. Certainly, obviously, Dan Mullen in his first year at UNLV, but I don't think anybody expected anything out of Hawaii this year, and for them to be 7-3 and already locked up a spot to go to a bowl game is a job well done there. But yeah, I'll take UNLV in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with UNLV, but shout out to fans. $47 get in price for that. What's the math on how many times more than the Penn State?
That's
game?
not.
9?
That's yeah. That's almost 9.5 times more expensive to get into Hawaii UNLV than Nebraska at Penn State.
That's crazy.
And 5 times more expensive than it is to see Alabama play Little Sisters of the Poor on so-called Saturday.
Yeah.
But then again, after their performance against Big Sisters of Oklahoma last week,
they're begging for an easy opponent to come in.
All right, moving on. We will, as I mentioned, there are 2 ranked unranked games in the entire country this year, at least in the FBS ranks. But this is the other one, and this is number 22 Missouri. There's some rumblings out of Columbia that Bo Prabula might play in this game at number 8 Oklahoma. It's a 9 a.m. game on ABC. It will be on YouTube TV this week. Maybe it just took it. Anytime we want something from Disney, maybe I just need to do that hand gesture I did last week.
I gotta go back and watch it. I just listened to the pod.
The Sooners are a 7.5 point favorite. Over under is 41.5.
Missouri has a really underrated defense. That defense travels too. They're not winning. They've been in every game, especially heading to the fourth quarter. They've been giving teams fits. Oklahoma at home, I mean, they have a really, really solid defense as well. And I think they've turned the corner defensively ever since turning the reins of the calls back over to the head coach. So give me Oklahoma to win at home in a classic.
Oh, a classic. All right, that'd be awesome. I'm gonna go with Missouri. I like their defense. I think Oklahoma has definitely shown a lot of improvement over the year, but I don't know. I just think that Missouri can pull it off and cause some chaos in college football.
Yeah, I'll take Mizzou in this one as well. I might be wrong, but if particularly if Bo Prabula plays, I think that even though it sometimes not the first game back's not always great.
That's amazing. It's coming back.
Yeah, 3 weeks after being in an air cast. But I'll take Mizzou because I really don't like Oklahoma.
It's an old school Big 12 matchup.
Yeah. Old school Big 12, old school. Even
a lot of bad blood.
Go back to the Big 8. There's history between these programs. Moving on to a game of not traditional Big 12 programs, or certainly one of these not a traditional Big 12 program, and that's Baylor traveling to Arizona for a 10 a.m. game on TNT. The Wildcats are a 6.5 point favorite. Over under at 61.5. And tickets 3 times as expensive it is to see Nebraska and Penn State.
You have to throw that in. Man, Arizona's been playing really well. I know Baylor's been a balanced team all year, but I'm gonna ride with the hot team. I think Arizona might end up pulling this one out. I just think they have too much firepower offensively.
Yeah, I'm going to take Zona as well in this one.
I'm gonna take Arizona as well, and watch someone next week, and then their coach gets poached somewhere else, and then Jason Shearer is gonna pull on meltdown once again.
We're not petty around here at all.
No.
All right. Finally, this is not a ranked game, but it is an interesting one, and that is Duke traveling to Chapel Bell, 12:30 game on the ACC network. The Blue Devils are a 6.5-point favorite. I'm going to refrain from the additional joke that I was going to make there. So, one of you give me your thoughts on this one.
Man, if this was in the Dean Dome, I don't know, I'd pick it, UNC, but I just think on the gridiron, I just think Duke has this one. Just comes down to quarterback play, and Mensa's light years ahead of what North Carolina's running. So give me Duke on the road.
Yeah, what a mess that program's been. North Carolina this last year. Who would have predicted this at all? Like, no one saw this coming. No. Yeah. I mean, I don't have much confidence with this, but I'm just gonna go Duke. I wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina pull something out of their ass, but Duke's the better team, and yeah, I think they won this.
Yeah, well, and I know they wear the color blue, but North Carolina, it came out a little bit this week that some members of the North Carolina football team have been having some trouble with the boys in blue.
That's bad.
with badges. So I'm going to take the darker blue team here in the Blue Devils over the baby blue Tar Heels. So we'll go Duke as well.
On and off the field.
Yeah, who could have? Yeah, who could have thought a dumpster fire was coming? Yeah, possibly pharmaceutical aided.
Possibly. NIL deals like yeah.
I can't believe Belichick's girlfriend is like.
I know they're not too far off the back of the road, but geez.
Yeah. All right. I gotta head out though. You guys have a good night.
All right. Take care, DJ. All right. Moving into the game that everybody that's listening to this actually cares about this weekend. And it's a good segue. We went from talking about one baby blue team to another. This one is the opposition for the Washington Huskies this weekend. And that is Washington traveling to UCLA for a 7:30 game on NBC. We are a 10.5-point road favorite. Over under on this one is 51.5. But what are you expecting to see Saturday, or what are you hoping to see, and what are you expecting to see Saturday night before we get into the bold predictions and the predicted players of the game?
Man, just like every road game, a fast start offensively. I know I've prayed for it this every single road game, and it's failed. Well, it's failed all but a handful of games early in the year. So
everything but the Apple Cup.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, we're due. You'd hope that, it's an encouraging sign with as many starters that were out last week, for us to piece together an offensive line that's just really young, but for us to thrive and everyone, elevate their roles and be a star in their role on the team and really step up. You really saw a complete team game. So hoping they carry that momentum over. I'd really love to see the line stay intact the way it was last week. I think the freshmen that were thrusted into, playing time play really well. I think you give, Zach another shot at center, to, after one little snafu, he settled in and was, lights out the rest of the game. I think John Mills at tackle and pocket at guard looked really well, really good, and really solidified the line. You saw, just the creases that we were able to create in the run game, with those guys in there, just those bigger bodies, those more athletic bodies, especially with like a Champ being asserted as well. I just think they all mesh really well together. You could tell, Michael Switcher's coaching those boys, right? So offensively, just hope we start fast. Defensively, especially if a certain quarterback isn't playing, just insert your will, man. Like, so don't have a Wisconsin moment. Like, take that to heart. You showed up last week, continue that momentum, and know how ugly it can look when you don't execute. So, play with physicality, play on the opposite side of the ball, take the ball away, and don't give them no hope. That's what I hope to see.
Yep. Well, and to echo and to build off of that point, would you like to hazard, general ballpark about where UCLA ranks defensively in the country in terms of rushing yards allowed per game?
I'm gonna say they're 140.
123rd.
Oh,
123rd in rushing. They're allowing 194.2 yards per game.
better not
So
that.
but not much. So, trigger warning for any Washington fans listening that were around 4 years ago. Run the damn ball, Jed.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Run the damn ball.
Please.
Not with Demond.
Yep.
Maybe a handful of times on scrambles. Maybe one or two design Demond runs. Give Jonah the ball. If Jonah's not feeling well, give Adam the ball. Give Jordan the ball. Give Quaid the ball. Give Julian the ball. Give Chris Lawson the ball on a jet sweep.
Everything down.
A football.
That's the next step, I think, for Jed is just understanding. Yes, I think, I believe he goes into these games thinking I'm the smartest guy, on the field, which, I mean, everyone has an ego. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but slow the game down, especially for Devon, for someone that, at times has shown you like the game is still really fast to him. It hasn't slowed down as much as it will next year. And he needs the run game to kind of open up and create those easy throwing lanes. And I think too much of the time, there's been times, especially I can remember back against Rutgers, we had explosive runs on the first couple plays, and they just went to go throw 3 straight times, and we had to settle for a field goal. Just you get so anxious to pass the ball, and I get it. Like you have so many favorable matchups out there, especially when Denzel's out there, but it's okay to run the ball to set that up. And I think he just has to stick with it. Like you should be, feeding Jonah, and, Jonah should be exhausted coming out of the game, not getting his 15, 16 touches and getting out of the game on a good day. There's times where it's like, where's Jonah? Like you forget Jonah's even out there. And that should never happen, especially in this final year, in the uniform. He only has a few more left. So I'm hoping he's able to empty the tank with the running game, allow the linemen to get comfortable as well, start moving forward, not having them in so many pass sets, get them comfortable, and then allow Demond to kind of create off that and make the game easy. Because I think as long as you don't make mistakes and beat yourselves, you should win this game fairly easily.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, like they certainly had a big uptick, a few weeks ago, but this is a game you should control and you should win pretty easily. And I would say, I want to see, similarly, I think we kind of figured out a little bit more about even, yes, it was Purdue. I was talking about this with EJ earlier in the pod. Like I think I'm not saying he's fully unlocked, but I think that, they figured some things out with, the kind of running back that Adam Muhammad is and can be. And he absolutely can just be a sledgehammer. And I think we saw him start to utilize that a little bit last week. And then you saw the difference in, okay, a steady dose of Adam. And then you give Jordan Washington a carry and woohoo!
The natural thunder and lightning.
Goodbye. I want to see Jordan Washington get a similar amount of touches this game as he got last Saturday. Because he can, yes, it's a grass field, but he's still going to be really freaking explosive. And it does. It sets, to your point, it makes things so much easier for Demond. And it will open so much more. It will open more in the middle of the field if linebackers have to come up to the line of scrimmage because they've got run fit responsibilities. It's while UCLA is not a great rushing defense, they're slightly better in terms of they're actually a pretty good passing defense. They're actually 27th. There he is. UCLA is actually the 27th best passing defense in terms of yards per game in the country. So run the damn ball. 27th in passing yards per game, 123rd in running yards allowed per game. Run the ball. But Hood, welcome in, man. We're talking about some of the stuff that we hope to see on Saturday. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, just in our game, definitely running the ball. I think proving a point about the physicality. I think just the confidence the offensive line as a unit should have after kind of putting like a makeshift unit together, and then it, to be honest, kind of like bullying Purdue a little bit. And you saying that was the cleanest game that we've had all year. It kind of makes me mad a little bit about Wisconsin and about Michigan because you had the same circumstances and you played the best game. Okay. But made me a little frustrated about that. It shows what the potential of Jed is. And then also, too, I can't remember the exact number, but I think Doherty and Fish spoke to the amount of freshmen that we played. So I think this is another game where, it's away. I think this has more of the Maryland kind of teeter-totter push for the first, maybe 2.5, 3 quarters. But I oddly feel like, and while it was Purdue, I oddly feel like that game was like a weird confidence builder, especially for the young guys and especially for the team. So I think it's going to come down to, the trenches, obviously. Well, that's what every game of UCLA has come down to. In our experienced defensive line, stopping their running game, getting to Nico, forcing tough throws. Yeah, but the road, man. The road, man.
Yeah, seriously, it's their 12th defender. It's
Bro, I'm saying.
But do we know if Nico got cleared with that concussion yet?
I don't know. I know they're planning on or preparing for him. So I know that for sure. So
I'm going to throw a couple other stats that should bear mentioning, and we should see results out of that on Saturday. UCLA is 136th in the country in defensive third down percentage, even worse than Purdue was, allowing opponents to convert 55.6% of the time. We are third in the country on converting on third down. So let's do that this weekend. They are also 84th in FBS and red zone defense, allowing opponents to score on 85.7% of red zone trips. We're currently 15th, scoring on 92.9% of our red zone opportunities. Let's do some of that, handle business, come out of there with a 2-touchdown, 17, 21-point win, handle business, come back up here and get ready for a big game to finish the year. But bold predictions. Let's get into the bold predictions for this one, and then we'll get into the our predicted players of the game.
Bold prediction
on the side of the ball, or just in general. I think the defensive line.
Yeah, we'll start on defense. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the defensive line has a dominant game. I think you'll see why. Obviously, if Nico plays, you'll see why he's relatively special because of the heat that we're gonna have on him. Also, too, so I'll say with the defensive line, I'm gonna give it. We have one of those weird high pressure games. You know what I mean? Where a ton of our guys are getting pressures. It doesn't necessarily accumulate come into sacks, but I'll say this is like a dang. That's not bold though. Give me 2 sacks by interior defensive line.
Okay, I like that.
Give me 2 sacks by the interior defensive line. I was trying to find a way to put it, how are they going to wreak havoc? There's going to be 20 pressures this game. I was trying to figure out a way to put it. But
I say,
yeah, I think 20
I think this game you see Ryan Walters really unlocks ZRS. I think ZRS fills the stat sheet. I think he has at least 2 sacks, at least a couple tackles for loss, and takes away the ball and through the at least once.
All right. I certainly like that. Won't complain about that at all. Give me 3 turnovers. I think Nico throws it to us, throws it to us twice, and we come up with a fumble. That'll be my defensive bold prediction. Is 3 takeaways.
I like this fumble. No, it's coming.
All right, on the offensive side, bold predictions.
I think it's really not bold considering who the player is, but this game just really feels like, and on the road, they give the ball to Demond a lot. They put it in Demond's hands a lot, man. So I'm going to say bold prediction. Demond has over 400 yards of total offense. I think he's leading the conference in like yards per game or total yards per game. So it's not like a super bold prediction, but I think it's 400. So I think.
But after the last couple of road games, it's a pretty bold prediction.
Exactly. He usually does that gaudy stuff on at home. So I got on the road. Like this is going to be a game where he puts together on the road, and I think it's actually a clean game. So I don't think the penalties or the turnovers or the runaround sacks, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think he has his way this game. Yeah, for sure. I'll give it 4 studies too. 400 and then 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off Hood with those total yards. I think we finally see a breakout game from Amari Evans. I think he's going to be called upon a little bit more this game, and I think that deep pass that they caught is just shows a little bit of what he can do, offensively. But I think Fish will lean into that a little bit more, especially with just a few games left in the year, and try to showcase. And he's a player's coach, so he wants to showcase the skills for the next level the best he can. I think don't be surprised if he even tries to force feed him the ball, even as an extension of the run. So I'm a predict Amari Evans has at least 6 catches. He goes over 100 yards and he scores a touchdown.
All right. I'm going to go with that ground game.
Mm-hmm.
We talked, Hood, before you joined, we were talking a little bit about the UCLA's defensive stats, and call me aspirational, call me hopeful. This is a team you should absolutely lean on. So give me Adam Mohammed is the leading rusher for Washington in this football game. Over 80. I think he gets close to 20 touches again, like he did. He had 18 touches last week with and a couple of additional targets. I think he gets close again. I don't think it's a spectacular, like, oh my God, we broke a 60-yard run. But I think it's a steady Eddie performance from Adam Mohammed. That's my bold prediction for this game. And that he gets over 80 yards rushing and, maybe 1 or 2 catches for, another 15, 20 yards. But he's kind of that stabilizing force, just, and you use him just to, honestly, just batter the defense.
Batter him down, bro. Yep. They got good. The scary part for me is all, like, if you look at the teams who've lost to, whether at home or on the road, they've had versatile front sevens, or at least like versatile linebackers, to be able to run and chase. They're not necessarily as fast, but, they got high IQs and they cut angles off and things like that. And while UCLA doesn't have the defensive front that the 3 teams we've lost to have, they got the linebacker that's going to run sideline to sideline. So that's going to be a matchup to really, really watch there. While they might suck in general run defense numbers, personnel-wise, this is kind of what the Kryptonites kind of looked like. Maybe not the front, maybe not the front 4, but those linebackers are definitely some run and chase kind of cats.
Good call, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's to me that's even more like whether it's Jonah or whether it's Adam, 60 to 75% of the run should be just come downhill.
I agree.
I mean, yes, they're don't get too fancy.
Facts. And I don't know, the Darker Knight's choice was Amari Evans. I truly, at this point, don't have a clue what they're doing with any of their like 4-game guys and all that kind of stuff. I don't know who's going to play. Like, I wanted to piggyback off of you again and be like, oh, yeah, Jordan Washington might have a couple touches too. But I'm like, is he on game 3 or like,
no, we don't know.
Well, he's a redshirt freshman anyway. So, like,
yeah. I don't know.
I know I can afford to play champ and preserve his red shirt, so that's one I know. But I don't know
champ can play every game the rest of the year. I think. I think that was Audrick's 4th. So I think bowl game the bowl game. We're gonna be loaded. That's why, man. This was a CFP.
You talking about the roster? Hood, are you talking about the roster or the group of us getting together to watch the bowl game?
Killing me. I don't got no drink next to me.
All right. Player of the game offense. Darker Knight, go first.
Player of the game offensively. I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's hard to go against Demond. I'll say Demond's the player of the game offensively. I think he learned from his road woes. I'm a channel my my IQ of OC here, and I think Jed slows the game down for him, which makes the game in tune easier. And I think we see Demond use efficiently like we haven't seen this year. So with Hood predicted 400 total yards offense, I do see that. But it's going to look like an effortless game for Demond.
I agree. I'll piggyback off of that. Obviously, I'm not going to say Demond, but the person that I think you need to play with the most, I think his last name is Vaughns, one of their linebackers. Pause. But I think Decker, bro, like attacking, the linebackers in coverage, and then also challenging them in the RPO game, challenging them in the read option game, challenging them in the inside zone game, outside zone game. I think it's just going to confuse them and allow Demond to kind of go crazy on the ground as well. So I don't think those 3 losses previous we've played with that linebacker enough. And I think this game we definitely play with a sense of urgency. So I got Decker. All right. Going to be similar to this last game was a really, really explosive game for him. So I got him continuing that trend.
All right. I'm gonna stick with my bold prediction, and I'm gonna say that, like, with a steady Eddie performance, just rock solid. I'm gonna say that the player of the game is going to be Adam Muhammad, or maybe a little bit of the undersung player of the game, but give me Adam Muhammad in this one on the offensive side of things, and then we'll flip it over to the defensive side of things. And I said that we're going to get 3 takeaways, and I'm going to say either a fumble forced or a fumble recovery and an interception from Alex McLaughlin.
Defensively, man, I'm going to go with like a mad random player. But, man, I just got to shout this person out just for the consistency since they've been in the rotation and been healthy, man. And that's Deshaun Lynch, making important plays. Now, while, you might end the game with 1 tackle and 1 pass defense, that pass defense is a, 4th down stop. That 1 tackle is a 3rd down stop that forces a team to punt. So that man has been insanely clutch and also has been putting out some very, very good tape, whether he's been getting to the quarterback or not. For a 6'5", 300+ guy, talking about how you're moving, I really, really appreciate his development. So I got him as my defensive player. I think he's going to have, like, similar to what Darker Knight was saying. I think he's going to have a tick, like ZRS can have a tick in a lot of categories. So TFLs, tackle, sack, pass defense. So I got Deshaun Lynch.
Yeah, I'm sticking with mine. ZRS. Look, I don't know if we appreciate the plays he's made, but when you really see the range that he has, especially in the middle of the field, it's really solidified the center and the middle of that defense, which was the weakness, especially if you look back at like the Ohio State game. All the completions were, from hash to hash. And when you have a guy who, is really comfortable in coverage, that kind of explosiveness, but at the same time, he just has natural football IQ. For his age, I mean, it's scary, like you know, what his ceiling is. So I think he piggybacks off the game he had last week, which is a huge confidence booster. I think Ryan Walters was able to, really unleash him and use him in other ways because he's a natural pass rusher as well. So I think we'll see him on the edge and some third and down, some third and long, kind of down the distances where, he's maybe lined up in the A and B gaps. Sometimes he's going to be outside the tackles playing games. I think when you have someone that twitchy and that smart, you're able to utilize their talent. So that's why I said he's going to just be everywhere. I predict he having at least 1 to 2 sacks, a couple tackles for loss, and I do see him finding the ball because when you're a playmaker like that, the ball just seems to find you. So I see him taking away the ball at least once and being a defensive player of the game.
Yep. And honestly, anybody that watched his high school tape saw basically has seen that exact interception that he made last Saturday before. Because it's on his high school tape. It's there. All right. Score predictions for this one.
What I want to see or what I think?
I wish this team was a little more matched our aspirations a little more than they do.
Late game in the Rose Bowl.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got them.
Go ahead.
I got them really pushing our. I got them really pushing our 25 points. I think it was Tony Castricone said that I think 25 is the most we've allowed all year, which I think is the third least of any of the Big Ten schools. I think we really pushed that. I think UCLA kind of gets over that, to be honest. I think this is going to be, just being honest, I think it's going to be a shootout, but it's gonna feel like we're going to be dominating the game a little bit. But I think Nico is just going to kind of play savior. I think his legs are really going to kick our tail on like conversion downs and things like that. But I do we outscore him, so I'll go 38-27. I do think they get over that 25, but I think we score enough to be able to be chilling, and then we get over that road hump.
Yeah, likewise, I think, if Nico plays, I just think his legs on third down could come into play and really cause us to, one, detach in coverage, or two, just guys out of their gaps because he is a playmaker and he's been doing it all year. Just really slippery. Knows how to set up his blocks, knows how to, set guys up in the open field. And, he's not going to break away from you, but he does just enough. Seems like every time he has a ball in his hand, they get a first down. So I'd watch out for that. So I'm curious how Ryan Walters prepares for that. As far as the score, I think it's one of those games where I don't think we start out as fast as we want. I think it's a punt fest to be, in the field position game for the first quarter and a half. But then I think towards, in that second quarter and towards the latter half of the game, we're going to see a lot of scoring. So I think, while we put up a lot of yards, I don't think the points are going to reflect that. So I think it's going to be a fairly low scoring game. I think the Dogs win 27-21. And so, I think UCLA makes it interesting at the end, but the Dogs are able to hold on.
All right. I actually kind of disagree. I think it is actually based on certainly their red zone problems. I think we do. I think we are able to build a little bit off of last week. I agree with you about Nico. I think that they're going to get over the 25. I think this does get into the shootout territory. I've got, I think, a 2-touchdown win. Give me 45-31.
Bro, yeah, doesn't it just feel like
45 on the road?
What's crazy?
They don't stop anybody on defense or on third down.
On the road or not. They're not, bro. Their defense is just cheap. Bro. One of the man, I gotta shout out. I just gotta make sure I shout out Ryan Walters, man. I think a lot of people, for the first 5-6 weeks, just kind of heard me screaming, this is his scheme. This is his scheme. But I think once you hit Michigan and kind of hit the wall there, there's been a significant transition into trying to fit what he's doing to the personnel. I've seen cover 3, you know what I'm saying, over the last couple of weeks. I've seen some pressures in the cover 3. Don't know if I've seen any like 4 looks, but his defense was man and cover 2, and it seems like. And this is where, a lot of people are talking about Calfusi and talking about Odom. This is where they're making their money, right? They're the ones helping a guy that is usually in a certain scheme. They're showing him the ways, oh, you can do this. We did this last year, we did this, and this is Calfusi's program. You know what I mean? So I think this is just shout out to Ryan Walter. Shout out to that defense for adjusting to the personnel. Like Darker Knight and I said beginning of the year, these are zone corners about to play in a man scheme. Now they're man press or they're zone press corners now, and you see what had changed in the passing game too. So shout out to Ryan Walters, man. He's gonna be a head coach again for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Come back next year. Yeah. We need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
Ryan Walters, 2027 first season head coach. Sounds great.
There we go. Yep. I agree.
Wish you luck. All right. Any final thoughts, or should we call this a night and just be back to talk about hopefully a win and a somewhat important football game next week?
Somewhat important. Oh man, yeah. I know the Rose Bowl's been a house of horrors for a lot of Husky fans. Our record against UCLA is not pretty, but I'm hoping we can right the ship. It seems like 2 programs going in complete opposite directions, so don't give them any hope. Like stomp on their neck early and often. Prove me wrong. I mean, I'd love to see 45 points on the road. So we can get there, like, more the merrier. Pour this on. So hopefully we dominate. Yeah, we need all the energy and all the motivation, all that type of stuff, all the momentum in the world going into next week. So don't drag your feet here, looking ahead, prove a point, get your road win, and then get ready for some home cooking next week.
Yeah, let us do. Let us do.
Please. Jed Fish was like, please let me get to 3-2 on the road. Please. He said, that's the end game. That's the goal. 3-2.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, man. Come on, baby.